Good morning, traders. This is Tony D from easyMarkets. We've got a little bit of a reversal again. The US dollar was on the back foot for most of the last part of the week in Friday and Thursday, but now we've seen some dramatic US dollar fortune. Now, is there any story behind it? Not really. Tax plan hasn't really moved forward. If anything, it's getting more quagmired over there in the US, so it's unlikely you're going to see any traction. It looks like there's a bit of a fight between the Republican Senate and the House in terms of the two bills that they want to get passed in their own tax form. Basically, the middle class had a lot of the state taxes sort of the relief for the state taxes removed, and they want those put back in, and to make sure that as a net result they're not paying more tax. Now, if that is the case, then it's going to be very hard to pay for some of this corporate tax cut as well. So you could see some delay in the corporate tax cut, or just some amendments, some finer tunings towards less of a tax cut. Now, the more we get this feeling that the tax cut's coming but going to be less, the more vulnerable the market is to a correction. But right now, we're not focused on that. Focus on US yields. US yields back on the 10-year, back above 2.4%. Dollar yen starting to resume its uptrend. The pound is under a lot of pressure as there seems to be weekend reports that there's a growing number of her Conservative MPs who want to kick her out or pass a no confidence vote, which is pretty much the same thing there. At this point, she's not a critical mass, but it's not something that they need. More concerning is the Brexit negotiations. Seems to be a real hard standoff here between the EU wants to have the divorce bill finalised. How much is the UK going to give them going forward for the commitments they've already made to the Eurozone? Now, the UK doesn't want to give that figure until after they've made their all agreements, but the EU, to progress the talks further, wants to get that figure out at the front. So there's a bit of a stalemate there. That's also a bit of a negative headline as well. So the pounds are not looking too healthy, down from a pretty strong run on Friday all the way up to at 132. Now back at the low 131s and looking heavy under pressure. In the Asian session, European session, probably going to be more the same as the UK traders come into play. You're probably going to see a mad scramble on that story about whether she has support or not with a majority. You should see a lot of the leading cabinet members come out and support her in the early part of the day. Would be normal. The euro is a little more steady. Still giving back some of those gains from Thursday and Friday though. Gold had an interesting day. Dropped $10 in a couple of minutes. $4 billion deal. A sell order came through over there on the COMEX. Now that's the sort of stuff which spooks the buyers, but at the end of the day, it's a one-off sort of order that can get absorbed by the market, and then that recent buying on the dip that we've been seeing might come back into tune as well. But not if these stocks remain well supported. So the stock market, you can see here, is now still off highs, but only about 100 points. Well off those lows that we got to last week in the spike low, when the fear was the maximum for the tax plan. Looks like there's progress making on the tax plan. Just the finer details is the big issue. Now, finally, we can't leave without having a little chat about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has fallen off a cliff over the weekend. A little bit of internal debate about what is the future of Bitcoin after a spin-off of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Cash has grown in popularity from the mining side. This is so the Bitcoin community split into the investors and the miners. Now the miners are all supporting the Bitcoin Cash. It seems recently in the last couple of weeks seen a dramatic surge in that spin-off, which was not doing anything for a long time, as $300. Now it's surged all the way to 2,500, whereas Bitcoin itself has dropped from 7.8 all the way down to 5.8 at the bottom here over the weekend. Now it may drop further. Support comes in technically at around about the 5.1 level. So still got a little bit of room to move in terms of a normal correction inside or a Fibonacci correction inside a normal Bitcoin correction. But you got to be a little careful that the story doesn't become bigger and that the value of what you're trading doesn't disappear. But if it does, then it could be just another opportunity here to get into what has been the highest returning asset in the market this year. Alright guys, if you want to have more information about that, Bitcoin or any of the other pairs we're talking about today, come through on the contact details below. If you're not a member of the Easy Markets Active Traders Group and you do want to have the ability to talk to a dealer like myself or Russell Sanford, do come click on the link below and you'll be able to join our Active Traders Group.